I'm talking with Faith Cohen, and you're the inventor of Global Beatles Day, correct?
Yes, I'm the founder of Global Beatles Day.
Have you done this all by yourself?
Yes, all by myself. I hatched the idea and I plugged away on social media for about 2 or 3 years. And then I invited my friend Cheryl Gregory to help me post things. And, I got exhausted trying to keep up. So I needed a little help.
Okay,
And then my daughter helps me with the website, Steve Cohen.
okay. So you started this up in 2009. You
Yes.
you started in 2009, and I remember getting stuff from you every year. How did it
Yes,
grow?
I just kept posting throughout the year. And then when it got close, the month of June, Cheryl and I picked up our posting efforts.
Hmm.
And then we learned about hashtags. So then we tried hashtagging things and SEO and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
I had set up a Global Beatles Day alert, and I started getting alerts like Cuba is celebrating Global Beatles Day, Spain is celebrating Global Beatles Day. Egypt, Israel, Italy, lots in Italy. So it actually did become global.
When did that start happening, would you say?
I would say probably around 2018.
Okay.
It was just so gradual, Steve. But I would say that maybe 5 years ago, the
Hmm.
BBC contacted me. I did an interview for a morning show on BBC, but not a whole lot of traction still.
Okay.
Um, so really, the traction happened this year with
With
the blessing.
And it starts with the letter from Tom Green
Yeah.
that you posted the other day.
I got wind that they were trying to get in touch with me.
Okay.
I didn't know exactly how the timing worked, and there had been stabs besides social media. Like we had given a Global Beatles Day shirt to Elvis Costello. We had given a Global Beatles Day shirt to Paul McCartney's then fiance at a concert. We had sort of been sending out when Universal Pictures did yesterday. We sent them a thing going, your movie's coming out on Global Beatles Day. You should tie this in somehow. But we never heard back, and for the most part. And so I just figured that I was just going to keep plugging away, and if nothing happened, nothing happened. But I was going to keep plugging away because why not?
Which fiance did you give the shirt to? Was it Heather or
Nancy,
Nancy? Nancy. Okay. Ooh.
no, no, no. I don't.
Well, I had to ask. I had
Yeah,
to ask.
no, yeah, no, no.
What was Nancy's reaction?
She was busy talking to other people.
Oh, okay. So you just handed it to her and that was
So
it.
I just
Okay.
said, here, this is for you, and walked away because I don't ever want to be a problem or annoying to anyone.
Well, that's good. That's good.
I'm a nice fan.
Yeah, you are. I mean, this whole idea is so sweet. But anyways, everything started picking up this year. When exactly did it start picking up?
Well, you mean with Apple?
Hmm.
I got wind that they were trying to contact me in March. And then in April, I had some phone calls with a woman from Apple and a woman from Universal. And they told me that the Beatles knew about Global Beatles Day, meaning Paul, Ringo, Olivia, Danny,
Uh-huh.
Yoko, and Sean, and that they all really, really liked the idea and they embraced the reason why I wanted to do it, which is a love letter and a thank you letter for the Beatles for all they have done for me and everybody else that you talk to on a daily basis.
Sure.
It's not just their music, it's their ideals, it's their innovations, it's everything, it's all the energy they radiate out into the world that will never go away. And I
Yeah.
hope that Global Beatles Day is helpful to spread their music and their ideals and all that down to the next generations coming in perpetuity.
Well, I mean, the fact that the Beatles have picked it up now, I mean, that's going to happen. So, but anyway, so you got the letter from Tom Green, correct? Was that the next step?
Yeah, so I had a couple meetings with them on the phone, and they said
Okay.
they're going to be sending me a letter. I got the letter, I got it home, I opened it up, and you saw the letter online. It was thrilling, Steve. It was incredible. The whole process kind of started in March, but I was sworn to secrecy, by the way.
Oh,
Like,
I'm sure you,
yeah.
but you actually announced it 3 days before they did.
Well, that was planned.
That was planned?
Um, they said you have to keep it a secret. And then what we would like for you to do, which again, so kind of them. I loved the Beatles before, but I really love Apple and the Beatles now. But they're just so kind. And they said, we would like you to be able to announce it since you're the founder and it's your baby. You may announce it. And then the next day or the day after that,
Yeah,
then
I think
we're going
it
to
was the
come
day
in.
after.
Yeah, then we're going to come in behind you.
That's sweet.
It's
That's
so,
sweet. That was really cool. Now, the next question is, because I know on the letter they said we want to invite you to go to Liverpool. Are you going? Is that a dumb question or what?
yes, Steve, I am going. I am flying through the clouds without an airplane to Liverpool. I will be there on June 25th with my husband and possibly my daughter or daughters, and I cannot wait. I love Liverpool. I've
You
been
do.
there and I love it, and I can't wait to go back. And I hope that I'll be celebrating with the Beatles every year.
Congratulations. That's all I can say. I mean, that's such a wonderful story. You started when I was back at the Examiner, you
Yeah.
started sending me the things every year, and who would have thought? I mean, did you ever think it could really go this far? Are you surprised? D-
Yes, and yes. You try something to see, how far you can get. But could I have really imagined what has happened in the last week or two? I just couldn't be any happier. I mean, honestly, it's the biggest dream of all to be able, the whole point of it, Steve, was to create a holiday that's a thank you and a love letter to the Beatles because what they did, and also the reason for the date is the Our World broadcast when they physically did bring the world together for the first time.
When you came up with the idea, did you expect it would go this far?
I created the holiday as a thank you and a love letter. But now I have done that. In other words, they know that I did it. So that thanks them. That achieved the goal. I couldn't really have imagined exactly how it all happened, but I wanted it to happen.
What a sweet story. Thank you very much, Faith, for taking the time to talk to me. And again, congratulations from myself and probably everybody watching this is just thrilled that this has happened. And it's an amazing story that you as a fan came up with this idea and the Beatles embraced it. And that's beautiful. That is absolutely gorgeous. And
Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to celebrating with everybody on June 25th, no matter how they choose to do it.
okay, that's it, folks. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Faith. And we'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you.
Okay, bye.